What's going on?
What's going? Girl, this Corona. We still locked down, locked up, all housed, caged. I don't care what you call it. Stay at home.
We're on a break.
We still can't go nowhere. Shush.
Well, in all of that, I'm Natalie Hayden.
And I'm Laverne Badger.
And we are
Expose the podcast.
Yes, welcome.
Period.
Guys. Welcome, period.
Welcome back to those who have been to our channel before, our podcast before, and welcome to those who are new.
I'm sort of nervous to drink my drink because it's not like I'm trying to advertise these folks.
Dang. Just cover your hand. See, that's why you got to go get your little drink.
Okay, thank you.
It is showing on the back end.
Dang.
We ain't no check for that, but
whoops. Yes.
That's all right.
One day. We are back and we're in full effect. Sorry for all the sounds and such that's going on. You know, the computer has its own way of thinking. I just hope my computer I hope I just didn't do anything because I think I hit a button to just make it go away and I thought it did something else, but it didn't. It didn't.
If nothing else, this Corona quarantine it will force you to get your IT game up.
It sure will.
Man.
You real quick with it.
Right.
Quick with it. You know this stuff real quick right away.
Right.
Guys, today we are talking about, today's topic is Thriver versus Survivor. We really want to break that down. You know, you guys, we really just relaunched our website. If you haven't checked it out, it's www.exposethepodcast.com. Exposethepodcast.com.
Exposethepodcast.com.
Expose
just in case you didn't hear.
Yeah, exposethepodcast.com. So, go there, check us out and just be inspired and get some resources while we're there because we are still in COVID-19 and there's lots of information that not misinformation, but some really serious information that can save a life. And that's what we're all about, is saving lives and making sure people are safer at home.
Right.
So there's a piece on our, there's a page within our website that talks about the Thriver and Survivor. And we really just wanted to bring some clarity, some understanding around that. And we're super intentional about the path that we're walking in. Laverne and I, we were once survivors, but we are now we have somehow unfolded.
Right. We have self-titled ourselves as thrivers and we are definitely, by every sense of the word, thriving. And so when we say that to people, you kind of get this confused look on like, okay, you did survive domestic abuse. Why are you not okay with that? Are you offended by that? No, we're not offended by it.
But that's just not who we are anymore, right?
Right. There's levels to this.
Levels.
There's
levels. Levels.
There's levels to this. Yeah. And so there's surviving, in my opinion, is the
Should we give them the definition first?
Yes. Yes.
So according to our new big boo in the world, Google. Everybody know who Google is right about
Google.
Now. You don't know. The man. Know who Google, the man. He the man. The biggest difference between a survivor and a thriver is that a survivor is still emotionally tied to the past. And somehow, they can't, it's really challenging to really let that go. And it can be for many reasons because they're still in it. And, they recently just got from up under it, and it still has very strong ties and strings attached to them.
Remnants still hanging on. Yeah.
And a thriver has let their past go, period. Like, let's just be clear. A thriver is someone that has let the past go. Thrivers grow and expand, but they do not need fixing. And so I might have a little conflict with the whole fixing thing. I think thrivers are still on the continuum path of healing. And so they don't feel limited by their brokenness. Now that is something that I can definitely relate to, right?
Right. So the survivor is, they're still not in it, but they're like, oh, I'm just so glad to be out of it. Like, you survived the abuse, you escaped the abuse, you are now you're now your own person. The thriver starts to determine who that person is.
Right.
So to me, the thriver is the person who is doing all the things they were told they can't do.
Mm-hmm.
The thriver is the person who now starts to believe in themselves. The thriver is the entrepreneur, the dream chaser, the career builder, the amazing mom, the thrive. And let's be clear, we still tell our story, so it's not like we don't think about the past.
That's still a piece of us, right?
Right. But we tell our story not from a victim stance, but for a transparency point of view, of reference. And so when we talk about those experiences, it's not about, I don't want people to necessarily feel sorry for me. I want people to understand that I was able to overcome that. And not only just overcome that, but to also just be able to thrive within my new life.
And bring somebody else along with you too,
Right.
A thriver.
Right. That's key right there. That's key. That I think separates you from a survivor, because a survivor is a very individual, selfish thing.
It's a journey. So
you just trying to get out that thing. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to make sure I'm safe. I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna handle these kids. I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna get my mental state right. It's almost like when you get out of it, it's like starting all over again. Because there's different levels of abuse. We all know that. So if it was financial, now I got to figure out how to financially, maintain my household without that person.
You become a budget analysis and manager over your finances when somebody else was.
Right.
And you like, okay, this is scary.
Right. Am I doing this right? Because all that self-doubt is still attached to that. A survivor is trying to figure out, I'm out of it, but I got to figure out how I'm gonna get around. Maybe they were the person who had the vehicle and took you everywhere. You weren't able to take public transportation, or you were always on a time limit, when you did go somewhere. So it's all trying to find that footing outside of that person.
Right.
And the abuser. And once you do, then come on.
You're soaring, people. You're soaring. You're like that eagle that's soaring up.
Yes.
It's good. It's good.
And you have to be in survivor mode for a minute.
Yeah.
There is nothing, I don't think you can jump from
victim
coming
to
out of,
no.
There is, we both, you and I both, we're in a survivor mode at once. That's why we can talk about it, and that how we can distinctly see what the differences are between the two. And because you have to be able to say, first of all, you just have to be able to, before you can help anybody else, you have to be in a space where you've done the work on yourself.
You gotta, you know who needs rescuing? Yourself. And so you have to rescue you, and you can't rescue you and also try to rescue other people. I know it's a very selfish and individualized and can be lonely journey that as a survivor, but to see that one thing that really helped me was to see other people that were thriving, that had been in the same position, not exactly, but they've been on this lonesome journey where you're trying to figure it out, and
that cat is
she acting
her cat.
She's doing the most.
And her eyes.
Looking at me sideways too. But
like, why you bothering me? She looking like I'm minding my business.
She's be doing her own thing. But I want to just read off some things that, that if you're still not fully clear on the difference between a thriver and a survivor, it's really clearly broken down on Google. And we've seen this, Laverne and I have seen this before, and we have been able to recognize ourselves in this. So gratitude for everything in life. See self as an overflowing miracle. Gratitude for a new life. Proud of a healthy self-care. Was wounded and now healing. Grieving at current losses. Live in the present. Faith in life and in yourself. Living with an open heart for self and others. Protect self from unsafe unsafe others. Creates peace. Finds joy in peace. Healthy boundaries around toxic people, including relatives. So I want to say to that, when I removed myself from a toxic relationship with an intimate partner, I started looking at every
right
that I had, especially family. And so when we say, oh, I'm in an abusive relationship with my spouse or my boyfriend, but think about all the other relationships that are so unhealthy.
Right. It definitely does that. When you kick into thriver mode, you
don't want nothing unhealthy around you. You hear me? Everybody gotta go.
And if you do find yourself in an unhealthy relationship, not a romantic relationship, but if you when you find yourself in an unhealthy relationship, it annoys the shish out of you. You know what I mean? Like, it is super annoying. Like, I can't believe I dealt with this long. I can't believe, when a person is around, you're like, it was okay when it was like, oh, that's just how that person is. Now it's just, no,
not with me.
I got places to be, places to go, energy to keep, like, I don't want that energy in me. And then eventually
you deal with people only when you have to, and especially if it's family, you get to compartmentalize and put them somewhere until you're ready to deal with them.
I love them, and family or friends, not just family, but people that you consider your friends. Like, they have not, I don't want to say a shelf life, but they have
everybody got an expiration date, if you ask me.
No, nigga, no ninja. I'm sorry, y'all. No ninja. Ain't no expiration date on this relationship.
Oh.
She stuck with me forever, y'all.
Forever, ever? Forever, ever. Yes.
Forever, ever?
Yes. When I talk about that, I mean,
no, but I get what you're saying.
You get what I'm saying. Yes.
I totally get what you're saying. I'm just playing. But yeah, people who you realize that are not going down the path that you see yourself going down the path. It's hard to let those people go. However, it becomes harder to have them around.
Baggage.
So you remember when we first kind of met, and I had that relationship that I was trying to detach myself from.
Mm-hmm.
And I really cared about her. This was somebody I loved and stuff. And it kind of just, it wasn't our falling out. It was falling out of a acquaintance, but it felt like it was our falling out because of different circumstances. But at the end of the day, I don't know if it was an eye opener for that particular friendship.
Mm-hmm.
Although the issue wasn't directly with the friend, it was a friend of a friend. It became a direct issue and made me look at what that direct relationship looked like. Because then you have to start thinking about that these people are hanging with that person. Right. So is that a reflection of them because of the people that they
absolutely
hanging around with?
Yep.
And so still love them to death, but it shows up differently. That's what it is. It shows up differently. And that's that really, it's just more self-aware.
Yes, it is.
Now, don't get us wrong. A thriver is not a person who has all the answers.
And they don't have everything together.
Don't have everything together.
They can still slip into depression. They can still feel anxiety. They can still but 80%, I want to say the majority of your life has really shifted into this different type of mindset.
Right.
You are free to really be okay with the person that you are becoming. This
right. And not
really
that voice when you're in survivor mode, that voice that continues to tell you, I can't do this.
Yeah.
He ain't here. Or that fear, that little fear that if you walked around the corner, he may be there. Thriver mode, you ain't think about that. Like if I ran up on my kid's daddy today, all right, don't this, I got a whole husband over here.
But we not even gonna go there. We just gonna say hi and keep it moving. You
don't even get that from me.
You don't even get that.
Well, I take that back. You might get that from me because that's a space that I'm in right now. But you ain't getting much more than that. Because we can forgive, but we ain't never gonna forget.
Right.
And so and the forgiveness, that was a big one. We should have a thing on forgiveness, because for me, forgiveness really, really didn't come. Even when I was saying I forgive them.
You got to fake it till you make it, though. That's that self-fulfilling prophecy. That it's a lot of self-talk. You didn't know that you were healing yourself when you were saying that, because in your heart, maybe you weren't there, but you knew that, okay, this is something that eventually has to happen if I need to move forward and have any type of life free from this.
Right, because I went from praying he got hit by a truck and died a horrible death to I don't care if he gets hit by a truck and die a horrible death. Like, I don't wish him that to happen to him, but if it did happen, I wouldn't care either. You know what I'm saying? But I used to wish that used to happen, that would happen, because you feel like you want that person to suffer as much as they caused you to suffer. But
that's called hurt people.
Absolutely.
And that's where, I feel like that's where an abused person can turn into an abuser.
Right.
In your thought life and how you treat the people that are closest to you that did not necessarily abuse you. So it really is important to, to me, that's part of thriver hood, in a sense, when you make peace with what was and look forward to what's going to become. These people enjoy personal relationships with the God of their understanding, not the God of my understanding, but the God of your understanding. Let's be clear about that. So, being a thriver is, it's a unique position to be in, because you've come to accept what was, and you choose to move forward with a positive outlook on what can be and what will be. So,
it's not attached to your past trauma.
No.
I feel like when you're when you're thriving, it's just, what did Ayana say? Ayana said a while ago, and I just heard her, I remember she used to say, on a couple of years ago. It seemed like she said it all the time because I kept hearing her say it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Stop telling the same story.
Right.
So you keep telling the same story
Reliving
because
it.
you reliving it because you want people to have that reaction to your story. You can tell your story, but it's how you tell your story. You know, this is what I went through, but this is not who I am.
Right. So
Yeah.
I think that when we talk about like, I can tell my story, but this is not who I am. So when we correct people, when we are being featured somewhere, or we're going live, or we're going on the air somewhere, and many people, they will say, are you okay with us calling you a survivor or the survivors? We are quickly to let them know we're going to share a story of surviving and being survivors, but we would like to be addressed as thrivers because that's who we are today.
Right. It's who we are. That's how I feel. As to who I am. And again, we ain't trying to say survive. There's anything with that. And if somebody wants to identify themselves as a survivor, great. That's fine.
A big deal.
We're not trying to convert people over to a language that we have embraced or a definition that we've embraced, but that's something that we see. And as Natalie said earlier about our website, that we do have a section in there about I'm a thriver, and we will be selecting we'll be selecting women that we consider to be thrivers, and they have survived domestic abuse, but now they are in the community doing amazing things. They built careers, they're entrepreneurs, they're doing all these great things, and they move differently, and they're moving differently, and they're helping others, and so that's probably the best part of the website, is that Thriver page, is because we're going to be able to showcase some amazing women.
I'm ready to highlight, put the spotlight on someone that, becoming a thriver is very challenging work. It's a lot of internal work that you have to do. And many people do not want to look at themselves. And so it's easy to stay in survivor mode for a while because you just are reluctant. You are resisting to go inwards. And that's what Iyanla Vanzant talks about all the time, is going within. You got to turn that mirror on yourself, and the thriver in you wants to see that person. It wants to have that greater awareness of who I am and how I can help someone else see the victim, survivor, and thriver in all of us. If you have any form of domestic abuse, because that is where it's at, is that we don't get to just sit here and say that we're thrivers. We get to pull someone else and say, I see a thriver in you. I see the survivor in you, because before you can be a survivor, you're a victim. You're in it. Let's just say that. So you have to go from victim to survivor. You survive this thing. Now let's help you become the thriver that we see.
Go to the next level. Go to the next level of being who God intended you to be. And I absolutely love seeing women like that. I just, everybody has their transition. So if you out there, before we let y'all go, I just want to say that if there's somebody who's listening to our voice, and whether you consider yourself a survivor or a thriver, you did that shit, girl. And you out of it, and just keep going, keep thriving, keep whatever it is. It is a process. There's no time limit on it. You'll know when it's time to say, I'm getting ready to be my best self, and getting out of that just living mode, because a survivor is somebody who's just living, and that there's nothing wrong with that. You go to a job every day, you taking care of your kids, you living, We
can speak to that.
Right. We can definitely speak to that. But to our victims who may be listening, catching one of our podcasts, and you still in it, know that there's life after abuse. If you If you could, again, if you could hear the sound of my voice, I'm praying for you. We praying for you.
And we're waiting for you.
And we waiting for you, girl. And I say girl, but guys too. We waiting for you. And just be encouraged that you deserve better, that you do not deserve to be abused in any way, shape, or form. And we just gonna pray that you get the strength to walk out that door and become the survivor that we know you are intended to be. Yep.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, Laverne said it all, guys. We wish you well. Stay safe.
Yeah, stay safe out here.
Look out for someone else. If you see someone in need, lend a helping hand. Check on the other person. Check on the strong people. And if you're strong and you don't know how to ask for help, don't do that. Ask for help.
Right.
Ask for help. But
by the time this podcast posts, you will see that we did an interview with Arnita, licensed. What's her title? Licensed.
She's a counselor. She's a licensed counselor. She's a coach. She's a professional speaker. She's many things.
Amazing.
Educator,
but she talked to us about mental health and what we need to do. So check that episode out. That's going to be a special drop Friday. What is Friday? Friday,
I believe it's the 15th.
Friday the 15th. But if you miss it on the 15th, you can always go to our podcast or YouTube channel or website at exposed.com. The podcast.com.
Exposedpodcast.com. So yes, guys,
so check that out too, and then just go ahead and catch up with us. And so we love y'all.
Be safe.
I love you, girl.
I love you too.
I love you, Thriver.
Yes, you
thriving that.
You
thriving over there. You thriving over there.
Yeah, you thriving too. Yes, you are. Well, I'm Natalie Hayden.
And I'm Laverne Badger.
And this is Exposed the Podcast.
The podcast.
Signing off, guys.
We out.
Bye.